Hi peeps, I'm Zen and welcome back to video 8 of the Figma series, where we are going to convert this more simplistic version of the About Me page in our Seaside variant of the digital portfolio into a slightly different version where we're just adding some images, and we'll talk about some additional things that we could add to this as well. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay guys, so welcome back, like I said, and what we're going to do is to update this About Me page. Now, I actually want to keep the original, and the reason being is quite simple, is that we don't know which one we're going to go with at the end. So I want to keep the About and the About Me. But before we do that, there's one thing we should have done before that we didn't. When we realized that the page needed to be trimmed, we should have done that to the base page. Okay, so we're just going to jump into our base page, click on desktop and reset the height to 960. You see we lose a bit of the beach at the bottom, no big deal. And now we can go back to files, and really we should also do this with the home page. Luckily nothing in the home page is going to get damaged. This is why we should always try and make sure we get this stuff done right first time, so we don't have any big issues. You can see no part of that page was really damaged. So now they're all the same page and the right page. Let's go into, let's duplicate the About. So just like we did with the base page, right click, not rename, right click, duplicate, and I'm just going to rename it About To. And let's open it up. So, although this is absolutely fine, there's nothing wrong with this layout as it is, we could add more stuff to it. And that's what we're going to do here. It won't take us long to do it. So let's add the stuff. So we're going to go into desktop. As usual, we're going to turn on our columns to help guide us. And the first thing we're going to do is to resize the video. Okay. It doesn't need to be this big. Again, we're going to use the shift button as we move this to make sure we keep the aspect ratio correct. And we're going to shrink it to 2 columns, okay? We're not going to do it to 1. That'd be too small. 2 columns is fine. And then we can move our text up. Notice how I'm keeping it on the inside of this column here. And you can see it's coming out. So we're just going to zoom out a little bit, so we can grab hold of the text and bring it round. And again, notice how we're keeping it just inside the right hand side. In fact, you know, it makes it a good argument to actually have this page a bit wider and perhaps have 2 lots of gutters, which would be called margins when they're on the outside. So maybe even a 20 pixel margin for that, but we're not going to do that just now. We can perhaps add that in when we're building the actual website itself. So we'll zoom back in a bit, and we're going to take this and we're going to move it over as well. Now this background will be, oops, let's zoom it back out, that's a mistake. This will actually take up the whole thing, that's fine. And it also gives us the freedom to decide whether or not we want the text a bit larger, because if you remember, we had the text set up at, oh, it says mix, it shouldn't be mixed, it should be size 15 on here, and we might want it a bit bigger. So we can now go and view this. Also, it sounds really silly, but always make sure that you are at 100%. Now here we can see actually 15 is a bit small. Remember, we're not testing their eyesight here. We're trying to help them view our website. So I think it'd be a good idea to increase the font size. So let's zoom in again. Let's make sure we've got all the text, and let's change it from 15 up to 18. And again, we can see it gets a lot bigger. So obviously, so let's take this and let's send this down so that it covers it all. And Now what I want to do is to move this. I'm going to keep it where it is horizontally, so it's still within the 2 columns. But I want to move it down so it's more sort of centered with that. And again, if we use it, you see how it uses these lines here, and that basically tells me, I think, there you go, I think that's probably roughly the center of the text bit. Okay, and that just makes it look a bit nice. And we flick it over here, see it's been moved down. It just sort of balances it out a bit more. In fact, I think I probably need to move it down a bit more. Let's just try that again. Whoops. Let's just see what that looks like. Yeah, that'll do. So now we can see we've got the text. It's a bit bigger, makes it more readable, and we've got a smaller video. And again, you know, it's really down to preference. This might work a lot better if you had a portrait one, so you know, where it's narrow but high, and that might work a bit nicer with the text like that. Okay, so what's the next step? Well, the next step is to add some pickies. And again, I'm doing this in a very simplistic way. And the idea is that I'm taking the information that I've put in here, mainly the water sports that I like doing. So here we're looking at swimming, windsurfing, kite surfing, scuba diving. So it'd be a good idea to have a picture of me scuba diving, or of somebody scuba diving, someone perhaps kite surfing, and maybe someone windsurfing. And as before, you know, for your digital portfolio, for your own site, definitely use your own images, or you know, images that you find which are related. I'm going to go onto the website we've used before, which is Unsplash, to find stuff that I need, simply because I'm not going to show any photos of me in this. The way that we look for the pictures is very simple. We just type it in. So let's go for scuba diving. And this is actually eerily extremely close. I do mean extremely close to an actual video that I've got of me scuba diving. So I'm going to download this video. Again, all the links for these videos are in the description at the bottom. So we'll download the large version. The next video, the next image will be of someone kite surfing. And there's some nice ones here. I've actually gone for, where are you? I've gone for this one here. And again, link at the bottom in the description. Download the medium size for that one. And then the final one is windsurfing. And we're just going to use this image here. So again, click on there, link in the description, download the large. So once we've got our images, all we need to do is to put them into our page. There are a couple of ways that we can do this. So I quite like doing it with the rectangle tool first. So I'm going to take this one here, and it's going to take up one column. Make it about 300 pixels. Okay, so 200 by 300 photo. Don't forget you can crop and stuff like that. And then all I'm going to do is select the place image. Actually, I think it's in my downloads folder at the moment. And what we can do is go into large icon so we can see them properly. So here it is. First one in. Just going to click it in there. And that on its own looks absolutely fine for me. Don't even need to do anything with it. Next one is going to be for the windsurfing one. Sorry, the kite surfing one. and so I want that one to go over 2 different columns. And what we'll do is try and get the heights are roughly the same. Okay, yeah, so 300, 420 by 300. And again, same technique. Place image. I'm going to select that one there, open it, paste it in. And the next one, let's just see, we can choose this one, open it, and we can actually just sketch it out as well if we wanted. So the trouble when you sketch it out is that you often don't get it right, and you have to spend a little while adjusting it. Now this one's a little bit distant, so what I really want to do is to increase the size of it, and so we're going to do that by again pressing the shift button to keep ratios, and I'm just going to drag it down both sides just so that, in fact across all sides, just to get the picture of the actual surf in there, windsurfer in there. And then I'm going to use, click on it again, select the crop tool, and then crop it back down into the correct dimensions. Let's just close that out. Now that is stretching it, we've lost the cropping, so just going to do Control Z, click crop again, and you see that's getting in the way. And so what we're going to need to do is to zoom out a little bit, or to move over. So let's just zoom out slightly and click on it again, recrop, and now we can match it up properly. Press enter, there we go. Let's go into the preview, give it a moment. 1, 2, where's number 3? There it is. All 3 videos. Sorry, all 3 pictures. Now, there are still things that we could do with this. For example, we could perhaps add some text to the sides to them. We could perhaps do something similar to what we did in the home page, where we sort of rotate the images to make them look a little bit more haphazard. Another thing we can do, and I'll just do it on one just to give you an idea of the things that you can do, not necessarily that you have to, and that is we can make it look a bit like a Polaroid. The way we do that is that we use a rectangle tool again, and what we're going to do is we go over it first. We're going to change this color to white. We're then going to move it below the image. Just take it down to here, okay. And then what we do is that we actually shrink the image itself a bit. And we're going to need to crop it. More of a square. Press enter. We can then move that up here, and then in this space here we could add some text, for example, and this would need to be black so it shows up on a white. Something like scuba diving in Skiathos. We could center align that, okay, and then what we want to do is move it up a bit, and we actually want this a bit shorter so it looks more like, there we go. For those of you who don't know what a Polaroid is, it looks something like that. Be a picture, and there will also be a little space here where you could write bits and pieces. And with that, if you remember, like we've done before, let's select all 3 pieces. So the white one as well. Now we can see all of these are spread out. So what we're going to do is just to bring them together. Okay, that worked. That's quite good. And then we're going to group it, and then, like we did before, just sort of leave it just like that. So if we want to repeat this, what we need to do is to basically select it, select the group. Let's rotate it back to 0 to make life a bit easier. And then we can just Control C and Control V to paste it. So we've got a separate group. And what we want to do really is to put this picture where this one is. So rather than get rid of this picture straight away, what we can do is to resize this one. Again, really we're looking at cropping it. So we're going to select the crop tool and we're going to crop it down, and we can still see that how we can meet the same values there. Now width wise is a bit harder, but we can check what the widths are. So again, let's go into the image, the picture here. It's 181 by 170. Okay, so this is 170 and we need the width to be 181, so we'll make it 180. So we'll just go to the crop tool again, and we basically want to knock about 10 pixels off each side. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so then we can go into this one again, into the text. We can get rid of it. We can now select this one. We can put this one in there, and then we just need to position it so it's correct. And you can see it's marking up nicely on the other side there. And then go in and change the text. And in this case, this will be windsurfing in Devon. And let's just change it so it shrinks. And there you go. And because it's inside that group, we can now move this group around. We can, like we did before, we can rotate it. That one there. This one can be rotated out here. And then we're left with this one in the middle. And, you know, we can do the same with this one. In fact, size-wise, it probably works a bit better. So, in fact, let's take this one back. 0. Let's do another copy and paste, and it comes. Rather than cropping this photo straight away, because we want to keep most of the information, what we're going to do is just to shrink it down a bit. And of course, we want to use the shift button to keep the aspect ratio. Okay, and in fact what we can do is go into here, we can lock this, and then we can change the height to 180. So the height is now the same, and we need to reduce the width, and then we can crop out the information to get it down to that 200. There we have it. And then again we go into, just which one it is, let's do group 10. Go in, get rid of the picture, move this one into that group, and now we want to, oops, we've got that. So I've got the values wrong there. It looks like the width should have been 180 and the height 200. So let's just unlock that. Let's just change the, let's just crop out the width. So I've got the height wrong. I think the height might be 170, wouldn't it? So again, let's just crop that height. And change the text to kite surfing off Torquay. Off off Toolbay. Click off. Let's just set that again. There we have it. So we've got, you know, an additional change, but you know, this allows us to sort of add, I'm only going to do 2 here, but as you can guess, you can do as many of these as you want. And it just sort of adds just a nice little style, little change to the website. And when we view it, there we go. And it just, you know, make it different. I think really I perhaps would add 1 or 2 more, but again, this is just to show you some ideas of what you can do. And I think really that's enough. That's good enough for this video. It's a nice idea for you to do. As always, hope it's been useful. In the next video, we're going to be looking at creating the BTAC page itself. Okay, so we're going to be working our way down. As usual, please like, subscribe and comment. Tell me how to make this better. Tell me what you'd like me to do to these videos, apart from delete them. You know, how I can improve them. I'm lonely. Please message me. That's the end for this video. I'm Zen, signing out.